is something that we internally have been doing like implicitly for many, many weeks and months and maybe years now, but perhaps it's not as obvious to everyone in our community. How do I actually find my swing trades? What is my routine? What are my steps to find swing trades idea? Because we do it in our scanning sessions, but this is kind of exceptional because you join our sessions perhaps once a week, maybe once a month. But what we like you to do is to use the dashboard on a routine basis, perhaps on a daily basis. So what would be the steps involved to find interesting swing trading ideas? Here we go. So these are my steps. And a couple of these steps, they happen one time. I mean, you just have to define them once and you're done with it. You don't have to do it again. Some other steps, you have to do it, every single day on a recurring basis at different time intervals. And this is a bit up to you. These are my steps here. So I have two steps which I do once, and then they're done forever. Then I have a couple of steps which I redo and do recurrently at different times in the day. So a couple of steps here at 8 a.m. in the morning before the market opens. The market opens at 9:30 a.m. And then a couple of steps which I repeat when the market actually opens at 9:30. So what are these steps to identify interesting swing trades? So let's start first with the one-time steps, the ones up here. Of course, what you want to do is to define what should be the perfect criteria for a swing trading setup. For example, something similar to what we've done in today's session to find swing trades which currently have a long power bound setup. So you find your criteria, and then ideally you want to create a dynamic watch list based on these criteria, and optionally also define email alerts for this dynamic watch list. How does this work? Let me show you. So for the one-time step, what I would suggest is you go to the dashboard. All right, so I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. You clear out all your filters and define the criteria that you would like to see for your ideal swing trading setup. So for example, in our case, let's just use the long power bounds. So I'm going to go here for MA Rush bullish for more than 500 bars. We are near support or near former resistance as per our liquidity IQ indicator. And let's say we do have a liquidity capture event at the last bar. So these are my criteria. Based on these criteria, what do? I want to save them exactly as David had suggested. So I will save them as a dynamic watch list. And if you don't know what a dynamic watch list is, it's a watch list where the content, with the symbols in that watch list will change from day to day. Because every day, new stocks or new symbols will qualify for this watch list, and every day some of the symbols will disqualify. This is why we call this a dynamic watch list, because it's based on criteria. And sometimes some stocks will fulfill these criteria, and sometimes they won't. So it changes dynamically. So I click here, Add Dynamic Watch List, and maybe I call this Long Power Bounce. Okay, setups. All right, so I power bounce, there we go. I click Create, and once done, I've showed you this before, you can see this watch list now here in our drop down here under Dynamic Watch Lists. This little label here, go down, Long Power Bounce Setups. And whenever you click there, you will see all these criteria. And the beautiful thing, all these stocks which fulfill these criteria. And the beautiful thing is that whenever you come back tomorrow or the day after or next week or next month, you will see the latest up-to-date content of all the stocks which fulfill these criteria. If you want to push this even further, what you can do, you can define a trade alert based on this watch list. Basically tell the dashboard, hey dashboard, send me every single day after market close an email with all the stocks which currently qualify for to be in that dynamic watch list. So you can go here to trade alerts, and then you can select, okay, I want to receive daily trade alerts. You put this little checkbox to yes, and you will select your watch list, your dynamic watch list. Long power bound setups, this one down here. Done. All right, so you close it, and then every single day at market close or after market close, you will get an email from the dashboard with the latest content of that watch list. All right, so let me now, this is step number one. You only need to do this once. So I'm going to go back to my slides here. This is just something you do once. Once it's defined, it's going to be there forever. You can just move on to the other steps. All right. So these were the one-time steps. Now, what are the steps which are recurring? So here, this is a personal preference to me. It fits well with the time zone I'm living in and I guess with my schedule. I like to check in on the latest stocks in my watch list, which we just created at around 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm fresh that day. I have an open mind. I'm eager to get the day started, maybe take some trades. That fits to me. But there's nothing wrong if you want to change this up. You could do this at any time after the market closes and the dashboard has been updated. It will update around 6 p.m. Eastern time. So any time after 6 p.m. Eastern and before market open at the next day, you can do this particular step. For me, 8 a.m. Eastern works well. So what do? Well, I log into my dashboard and guess what? I check what is the updated content of my dynamic watch list, the one we just created. So let's go back to the dashboard in a second for this. Then once I see all the stocks in there, I will then go through these symbols one by one and I will create something which I call a hot list. Which of those, because not all of them might be ideal for me, I will create a hot list of which ones I really like. And for these stocks in my hot list, I come up with a trading plan. So, if things go right at market open, I will always wait for market open. This is how I want to execute on this trade. So how would I do this? So let me go back to my dashboard. So 8 a.m. today, let's create our hot list. I'm going to go to my long powerbound setups here. I filtered them also by trend duration. Let's go through a couple of them. First one was Bharti Airtel. Not of interest for me. I currently cannot trade Indian stocks, so this is disqualified. Moving on. Next one, APH, Amphenol Corporation. I like it a lot. Okay. This one goes to my hot list. I'm going to do a right click here, add this stock to my hot list stock here. My stocks for today. That's my hot list for every day. It's already in there because I already did this exercise this morning. Next one, HCI. Next one on the list. HCI Corporation. I check it out. I look at some statistics here. Do I like what I see? That's an insurance company. Potentially interesting. Maybe I want to trade this one here. Okay, I'll add it to my watch list too. Okay, it's already in there. You can see it here. Moving on. CHOP. 1 second. CHOP. All right. Interesting, but probably not the one I want to trade. We're too close to this resistance level here. This trade would not have much room. I'm going to skip it. Next one, Expedia. All right. Interesting setup. We're right next a key support level in a nice uptrend. Potentially seeing a bounce off this level and maybe a gap fill. This down gap here might be filled. Okay, let's add it to my hot list. You get the point. So I'm going through these ones quickly and add it to my hot list. And then what I can do, I can go back to my hot list. This one here, my stocks for today. And I see all the stocks in my hot list. And these were the ones I picked this morning. Amphenol, HCI, Expedia, and the German stock here. All right, all of these are in my hot list. And guess what happens next? I like to prepare myself. And typically, I don't want to take 4 trades a day. Sometimes I just pick perhaps the best one in this hot list. I pick 1 or 2 symbols in there, which I really like. I do some, correlation analysis, making sure I don't invest everything in the same sector. So they're nicely diversified. So I pick the ones I really like, and I come up with a trade plan. So let's do this for Amphenol. So what could be a good trade plan to trade Amphenol today based on the setup? Let me go back to the slides to show you how this could be done. So what could be a trade plan for Amphenol Corporation? Well, let's ask ourselves some questions. So how could we trade it? And I guess the most obvious way to trade it is to simply do an outright stock trade. We can simply buy a few shares of Amphenol, and that's a completely valid way to do it. And I asked myself the same question today. Should I just simply buy some shares of Amphenol? I could collect dividends, I'd be a part owner of the stock. There are all kinds of benefits that come with this plan. But to me, I kind of thought, hey, that stock, even though it's in a nice uptrend, it corrected a bit deeper down than I would like to see it. What do I mean by this? You can see it here. Look at this bigger correction here. It's quite fast, and there is a chance. There's always a chance that this level will not hold, and we're going to just fly through this level towards much lower price levels. I kind of don't want to get stuck in this kind of scenario with a stock trade. So I disqualified this as an outright stock trade. No, I don't want to do it. But I have other options. What if I use a strategy to simply buy some options, maybe some call options to do it? Okay, um, it's an idea. Should I do it? Yes or no? So once again, I looked at the stock. I looked at things like the heat index here, and I could see, oh, heat index 8.69. Option premiums are quite expensive right now. You have to pay 8% premium for 30 days options, or options with 30 days of until expiration at the money. That's quite high. Well, maybe an option buying strategy is not the best idea right now for this particular one because option premiums are high. Heat index is 8.69. Affordable options are around 3 or 4%, and sometimes even lower than this. A bit too high for me. So an option buying strategy, also perhaps not the best idea for Amphenol. So what else could I do? Maybe I could short options, an option selling strategy. Premiums are high. Okay. And I think for me, that sounds interesting right now for Amphenol. Let's do some option selling. But of course, then you need to ask yourself the question, okay, if I want to do option selling, how should I do it? Should I just sell naked puts or cash secured puts? In in my case, I said no, not in this case, because I'm a bit wary of this. This might be a deeper correction. In this case, I don't want to be assigned. I don't want to be stuck in a losing put because the risk of selling a cash secured put is almost unlimited. To the So I'll show you the reward to risk or the P&L diagram in a second. So no, in case of a deeper correction, I don't want to get stuck with this trade. I eliminate this choice. But what about a bull put credit spread? So it's also an option selling strategy where I'm going to get a net credit at the end, which is good for collecting premiums if they're quite high, but I can limit my risk that way. And that sounds about right for this particular trade for me. So yeah, let's use it. And then the final question is, okay, how should I pick my expiration and my strike prices? This is how I would to plan out my trade. So I go through these steps slowly, but once you get the hang of it, you can do this very quickly in your head. So for the expiration and the strike prices, I like to use a tool called Options Strat. It's a great tool just to see, okay, how much can I get if with a certain strategy if I put my strikes there and there with my expiration here. So let's choose Option Strat for this. I'm going to go to Option Strat right here. It's this great tool here. And the first thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to start from scratch real quick. I'm going to remove these two trades here. The first thing I want to show you, how does my P&L diagram look like if I simply sell a put option? I disqualified this idea because I'm a bit worried about a deeper correction. So in order to simulate this, you would go to add here this button and sell put. Okay, you can say, okay, I want to sell a put right at the money at 125, maybe at 120. Great. If I did this, and the expiration should be June 18 in a month from now, give or take. If I did this, I can see it here. I would get right now, with the current options pricing, a net credit in my account of 510 US dollars. And if prices stay above my break-even point, which is at 114.90, that's about $10 less than where prices are right now, I will stand to make a profit at expiration. But what happens? And this will be capped, of course. My max profit is 510. You can see it here. This green line here, you see the $510 next to it. I can't make more money than this. But look what may happen on the downside. What if prices go down to 70 bucks? I'm losing 4,500. If they go down to 40 bucks, let's say this is happening, $7,000 loss. So I don't like this particular P&L diagram. It always looks terrible for cash secured puts. You can lose a lot and gain a little. And sometimes it's okay for me if I really believe in the stock and if I don't mind being assigned. And this is in the past many times of silver or gold and some of the large cap stocks. But for Amphenol, this is not my cup of tea. So let's try to limit our risk. So what can we do? Well, we can transform this into what we call a credit spread. A credit spread involves selling a put and buying a put. So, and this is exactly what I've done. Let me just show you here. I have put on a bull put spread where I was selling a put at 135. You can see the selling part always below this axis or this line here. Sell a put at 135. I'm collecting a premium for this. And buying a put with a strike price of 120. Expiration stays the same on June 18. So how can I simulate this? So let's go back to option strat here. I sell my put at 135 and I'm going to buy a put at 120. So if I do this, I will collect premium of around $1,280 for selling the put. And I have to pay a premium for buying this put of around $510 for a net credit of $805 on my account. And what I like about this strategy, look at the P&L diagram here. My max loss, now, so I'm getting a nice net credit, and my max loss here is capped to $695. It will stay where it is. Okay? And my max gain is $805. That's the net credit I received. My break-even point is at 126. So what you can do with options strat, you can move around these sliders here. You can say, hey, what if I want to sell an even higher put? Maybe at 140, collecting more premium. Okay, now I could gain $1,185, but I could also lose $815. And my break-even point is much further out at 128. So prices would need to be above 128 at expiration for me to be in the money. Now, this is how you can simulate this strategy with options strat. It's a great tool just to understand a little bit what's involved. You can play around with these sliders here. So I've done this exactly this morning. I used this tool to set up an options strat where I would buy a 120 put, sell a 135 put with expiration on June 18. And then when the market opened at 9:30, so this was my strategy. I did this at 8 o'clock or 8:30. When the market opened, I confirmed that things still look good. There was no massive gap in the market. I don't want to enter this option strategy before the market opens. I actually want to see what's happening at market open. So I like what I see. You can see prices gapped up a bit higher. The current candle is a bit bullish. I think this is an early sign, at least in my view, of a bounce off this level. Looks good to me. And I went ahead and executed exactly this trade at 9:45 this morning in my Interactive Brokers account. So this took a while to explain, but this whole process perhaps took me maybe 15 to 20 minutes this morning, once you get the hang of it. And this was possible because most of the heavy lifting was done by our Liquidity IQ scanner here, which allowed me to just find these handful of stocks very, very quickly. And once I knew which stocks I had to trade, once you have a bit of experience, you can easily find what's the best option strategy to trade this particular setup. All right. So this is how it works, and this is what I've done this morning. And, I do this on an almost daily basis. Sometimes I do sell options, sometimes I buy options if they're affordable, and sometimes I just buy the stock outright. So, but this is the process I go through every single morning. All right. So, quick reminder, if you are intrigued by our dashboard, once again, the link is here. It's tradingindicators.com/view. Try it out for a full week for free. You can cancel at any time. And if you want to stay on board, we have interesting monthly and yearly options.